And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey everybody, I'm Tom Vasel, and today we're taking a look at Bloomtown. Bloomtown is a city building game using the idea of flowers. You're not actually building a town out of flowers, but your town is blooming. Spring is here, and it's time to put some new life into the city. So this is a city building game, but it's a little more abstract than that. It's a tile laying game where you're trying to score points with a very pretty cover. But does a pretty cover make a good game? Let's find out. At the beginning of the game, you're going to make a certain, you have 5 stacks, and there's going to be a certain number of tiles based on the number of players in the game. Each player is going to get their own player board that you'll put in front of them. You have an A, and there's a B side. The symbols are in a different order on each of the sides. This one's a little easier to play because all the same flower symbols are in the same row. Players are going to have a handful of 2 tiles, and on your turn, it's pretty simple. You're going to pick one of the tiles in your hand. You're going to place that tile on the board, any open space that you want. You will then score for that tile. The space that you put it in, so this one has this upside down leaf in it, you'll take the tile that matches that one. That tile is then replaced from this. If it shows a community tile, that goes to the top of the board and then it's replaced again. And then it's the next person's turn. When a certain number of stacks runs out, and the number of stacks that runs out is going to be determined on the number of players in the game will end. And whoever has the most points is the winner. Different buildings are going to score in different ways. So offices, when you play an office on the board, it scores you 1 point plus 1 point for each connecting office in that row or column. So this one would just give me 1 point. But if I place one here, that would give me 1 plus this one, which is 2. If I place one here, it would give me 3. If I place one here and there was 3 here, it would give me 4. And in fact, if there was an office here and an office here, and I place an office here, it would give me 1, 2, 3, because they're all connected to each other. Subways are the same thing, except they do it diagonally. So this would be 1, and this would be worth 2. Parks, when you place a park there, the first park is 1, the second park in the same group is 3, and the third park in the same group is 4. After that, you start another park. A home, and here's a home, and here's a home. A home will give you 1 point plus 1 point for each unique neighbor. So putting a home here would give me 1 plus 1, because this is a subway, but it won't give me 1 for this because it's another subway. Had this been a park, though, putting this home here would simply give me 3 points. 1 point plus 1 for the subway plus 1 for the park. And then shops are going to give you points based on the top. So the top of this shop here shows red and blue, a blue shopping cart with red apples. So this gives me a point for matching red houses and blue. So if this had been here and this had been here, this would give me 5 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I had placed it here, though, it would simply give me 1 because it's next to green, which doesn't give anything. While this shop here gives me points for being next to red and green. There are 5 blooming squares on your board, or on the other side there's only 4. When you place a tile on one of those, you can either score double points for that tile, or you can take another turn. Each player also has a bonus chip, which is the same thing. You can score double points for a tile you placed, or you can take another turn, or you can trigger community scoring. So community scoring will happen. You'll be placing these tiles up here, and if there's one tile on a spot, you can trigger community scoring yourself, but they will also trigger when the second tile, and there's 2 of each type shuffled within the stacks, comes out. So this would trigger subway scoring, and everybody would get 2 points for each subway, 2 points for each office, 2 points for each park, although homes and shops would score. So if I got another home, that's what this is, they score the same as they normally do. And that's pretty much the game. You're going to keep going till a certain number of stacks is depleted. At that point, players will look at the 2 tiles they have left in their hand. They're going to pick one of them, and you will score that one again, just like the community scoring. And whoever has the most points, as I said, is the winner of the game. The art is fantastic, really. I like this colorful look to it, and you can see that things look different. So these office buildings or these commercial buildings, they look, they have some that are exactly the same. Even though they're not quite the same, they have different cars out in front of them. But then there's all different types. But you're able to tell them apart by the style of building and by the color. And the whole thing, when you're building it out, your town just looks cool. The board itself, also pretty much these symbols kind of explain how it scores. It's not 100% on exactly how it works, but it's enough that once you figure out the game, it makes perfect sense. I mean, there's not a lot of pieces in the game. The point tokens are fine, and everything fits very easily in the small box here, which has that cool artwork on the sides also. Bloomtown is a very solid little tile laying game. I like the theme of building a city. I'm a big fan of building cities, actually, but this game itself doesn't have that strong in it. I mean, it looks cool and everything, but essentially, why would you want to put subways diagonal from each other? It doesn't matter. That's how it works. And this game is very light, very easy. Place a tile, score some points. Put a tile down, score some points. Every once in a while, the community tiles pop, and you take a bonus action, but it's very light. It scales really well for 2 to 4 players. Plays very quickly. The side of the box says 30 minutes. That is extremely accurate. And it's a game that's really easy to get people into. I would even call this what we often call in board gaming a gateway game, a game or a family style game, a game that's really easy, and say, here's how to play it. I play it with some people, and it's just they understand it, they grasp it, and it's a lot of fun. I really enjoy it. I don't think any of the buildings is inherently stronger than the rest. Technically, some of them could get a ton of points, like a residential or a shop is only going to get you 5 points at the most, while technically the commercial could score you a ton more, but likely not going to happen. There's some luck in how the tiles come out, but it's really intriguing because you're thinking of several things. When you're looking at your board here, I want to put the tile here, but by putting the tile here, I can score blah, blah, blah. But then I also look at what tile am I going to get. I really want that tile. But to take that tile, I need to put it in this row, and I don't want to put the building in this row. So that's kind of cool. Also, because of how many tiles are in the game, you're not going to cover your whole board here. You have a 25 grid board, but you're not going to place 25 buildings, so only part of your town is going to be built. And on the other side, as you look here at these, everything's diagonal, and it still works. In fact, it's probably even more strategic, but this might slow the game down slightly because here I can say, oh, I want to take that tile. I need to build in this row. Oh, I want to take that tile. I need to build here, 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 here. Okay, let me take a look and see how that works. Still, I'm making it sound a lot more complex than it is. This has like 3 rules. The most difficult thing is understanding how the buildings score, and like I said, that works really well once you teach it. It's nice. I like games like this. They're nice, they're fun, they're a little fluffy maybe, but at the same time, it feels like there's a little bit more behind it than meets the eye. Cool. I really think you should check it out. Also has a pretty cool name, Bloomtown. Dice Tower Judgment approved.
Thanks so much for watching another Dice Tower video. If you enjoy our videos, subscribe to the channel for more fun, comprehensive board game coverage. Also, consider joining us at one of our events. Come to Dice Tower Retreat, a small, intimate gathering where gaming is king. Join us for Dice Tower Cruise, the largest board game cruise. Attend Dice Tower West in Las Vegas for gaming fun on the West Coast, or Dice Tower East in Orlando, in sunny Florida. Dice Tower Conventions, the friendliest gaming conventions on Earth. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching the Dice Tower.